My name is Katya. I live in Minsk. I'm an individual entrepreneur. I'm 34 years old, and I support our president. I voted for him during the elections, and I can say that all members of my family had voted for our president.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Thank you for this. You know, the situation here in the UK, the media portray Lukashenko as a dictator. They portray him as someone who has no public support. So we don't get to see and hear from people like you. We get broadcasts and news from the BBC with a lot of footage of opposition protesters who carry the white, red, white flags, but we don't get to see people who are flying the national flag. So we are very happy to have you today as a citizen of Belarus and as a proof that there are patriots in your country who are against what we believe is a color revolution that is being attempted right now. So, Ekaterina, I would like to ask you a few questions. My first question is the following. In Western media, in the run-up to the election, the idea had been promoted that the opposition was definitely going to win and that we should expect it to win. Did you, as a citizen, feel that the opposition had gained this amount of support that was claimed by opposition media and which was repeated by the Western media?
I can say that very few people supported our opposition for a long time. We do not hear nothing about them at all. It was a very shock for me that they appeared suddenly from nowhere, and it was a great surprise for me, and a lot of people were also very surprised with these things. It seems that people who went to the protests had been well paid, and there are only one person among all of my acquaintances who supported opposition. We all expected our president to win because most of people in our country support his politics. We passed through coronavirus very lightly without any lockdowns, and this was the best way. And everything in his politics is supported by citizens of our country. And I think that people do not support oppositions and their numbers are fake. They are screaming loudly in their videos, but in reality, we have 2 million people, and maybe these opposition people have in their best days of protests, maybe not more than 2,000 people. But I think that most people support our president and they stay at home. You do not see them, but a lot of people had voted for our president, and we are very glad that he had won.
Over the last few decades, you have the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, the OSCE, that has repeatedly stated that the elections in Belarus have been neither fair nor free. And in fact, they refused to observe the vote itself. On the other hand, we have foreign observers from the CIS, the Commonwealth of Independent States, declaring that the recent election was fair and in full accordance with the Constitution of Belarus. My question to you, Ekaterina, is, do you think that an organization such as the OSCE comes out with a result contradicting foreign observers. What is the reason for it?
I do not know why they are saying so, because our elections were fair. There are no problems with observers. There were a lot of observers. I saw them with myself, and they were sitting quietly. They had nothing to say because everything was fair. I do not know why they are saying so.
What is being discussed right now in Belarus? What do you think is the role of the people contradicting the election result and spreading these rumors? You mentioned that there are people being paid to do so.
I think that they were paid because I heard nothing about our opposition for a long time. And when you are speaking with people, they all support our politics. Why do these people appear? It's very strange for me.
My next question is to do with the footage of opposition rallies that is being broadcast here in Western media over the last few weeks. And unfortunately, we have most Western Europeans, British, and Americans that are totally unaware that those have been actually countered by very large rallies across the country in support of Lukashenko. Apart from refusing to recognize the result of the elections, what do these opposition protesters demand politically? And how do their demands compare to the needs and the desires of citizens like you, who are pro-Lukashenko?
I can say that these politics that were announced by oppositions will not be supported at all, because they sent their papers to Lukashenko. He was reading it, and their politics were to make our country one language. Now we have two official languages in our country, Russian and Belarusian. I think that practically everybody are using Russian language, and if they will change our country to a one language one, and people will be very angry with it, because they want to have their education in Russian, and nobody, I can say, will support it. Maybe there are a few people who are very who do support our position, but it is very few amount. I can say that they had announced that they will create more connections with European Union and stop practically all connections with the Russian Federation. It's very bad idea, because our economics is practically oriented to Russian Federation, and if we stop our connections that we have nowadays, a lot of plants, a lot of our heavy industry will practically stop. And it means that practically maybe half of our popularity will lose their work, and maybe people who are visiting protests, they do not understand these things, and maybe, but I think it's very bad politics. There were also another points, but I do not remember, but they also were not very good. And they the next day that they published their politics, they deleted them, because nobody will visit their protests.
So definitely they go against what everyday citizens need, right? You would say that the opposition is completely out of touch with what the majority of people in Belarus need and desire for the future.
Yes, I think that politics of our president are very effective because we have connections with a lot of countries. We have connections with European Union, with China, with the Russian Federation. We sell our products. He visiting these countries with himself and create new connections. He sells a lot of things from our heavy industry that is well known all around the world. I think it's due to our president.
Thank you, Ekaterina. My last question to you is about the two flags that we see right now. The opposition have adopted the red and white flag that is associated with the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And on the other side, we see government supporters waving the national flag of Belarus. My question is about what do these two flags, different flags, very different flags, represent to people like you?
I do not want to see this white, red and white flag because it is associated with fascism in our society. It appeared in 1917 and during the German occupation. And it appeared the next time during the fascist occupations in 1942. And a lot of people do not want to see this flag as official in our country. And it appeared in 1991 when the Soviet Union ruined. The oppositions in our country became a president, and they pushed this flag to official one. And when our president in 1994 was elected, he practically very soon there were a referendum in which we chose our flag, and I think that numbers were about 90%. Yes, and I think that people who protest, they were mostly teenagers who can't vote themselves. They do not achieve this age. They have a chance to vote, and they do not know our history maybe. And I think it's the only reason that people can stand under these flags.
And what do you feel about your national flag? What is your feeling when you see your national flag?
I'm very proud of my national flag. It's very beautiful, and I have one. I also have one point of this flag in my home.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Thank you very much.